Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Tottenham fans, football fans, any fan of any sport who's watching this video, big up to every single one of you. So what is the state of play? Well, Spurs play their first Premier League game 14 days from today. We are 2 weeks to the day till we kick off our Premier League season away at newly promoted Leicester City, who I'm sure will be watching the way we play and just wondering how they're going to get Mavididi, Fatua and Vardy down the channels behind our back two. But more of that later. 14 days till the season starts, 25 days until the transfer window shuts. Not long. Again, we've left it till the last 3.5 weeks? We've left it to the last 3.5 weeks of the window to actually start realising we are a top-level football club and that we need to start signing players. People like Romano and Ornstein are saying we're going to have a busy week. The question all Spurs fans want to know is not will we buy players, but what will the quality of those players be? So I'm just going to have a little look at all of the players that we are being linked with, all the noises of players going out, coming in, and we'll do this quick fire today. So we'll start with Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale, the saga that won't go away. I've never known it so difficult to sell such an average footballer. Now, there will be those that like him and that will give you, well, in a defensive setup, he's good. I watched this guy play for 2 years on loan at Betis from Barcelona. Couldn't believe when Tottenham signed him. Couldn't believe. And this is why I would never, ever recommend Paratici to anybody. Paratici goes out, brings in Emerson Royale for 30-odd million, and you're thinking to yourself, what on earth have you done? Barcelona fans were laughing at us. Surely the Barca president or whoever runs their academy at the time was laughing at us. Runs their transfers. He's been here for a while. Bit of a meme. He's got this kind of cult following. I don't know why. A really poor footballer. But Tottenham seem to have been in talks with Milan for about, I believe it was the 2nd of June. Somebody said the other day it was the 2nd of June, the first time noises came out that Spurs and Milan were in talks. How long can it take to get rid of a player this bad? We are holding out for 20 million. It absolutely makes me laugh. First of all, this guy, I think it's amazing that anyone will pay anything that's over 5 million for him. Second of all, Daniel Levy is the one that when he goes to try and buy the Ezes and the Solankes and whoever it may be, he wants to quibble on every million. But yet when selling a player like Royale, he wants to get every penny out of them. Surely you get him out of the club and move on. We know that there was a definite deal, I think it was 2 weeks ago, for 15 million euros. Take the money, move on, reinvest, add it towards the striker you want, the six you want if you do, and the winger. But I do feel it's starting to become a little bit farcical now, that deal. And unfortunately, for all those that stick up for Levy and, oh, Levy this, Levy that, it's another example of how bad we are at getting rid of footballers. And it's always Daniel Levy's watch. I don't see other clubs having this difficulty getting rid of players at this level, at this ability level. So hopefully Emerson Royale will go. Look, lots of reports that we might replace him with a Kabore, who was on loan at Luton last year from Man City. There's reports that, lots of different obscure fullbacks from across France and Italy that might be joining us. For me, I do think we need to get in another fullback. I don't think Jed Spence is good enough. All the fans that are raving about him now, we're raving about him off of 2 or 3 45-minute cameos against Vissel Kobe, the K-League All-Stars, and Hearts and QPR. You saw the moment he played against Bayern Munich, albeit out of position, you saw just how average Jed Spence is. For me, shouldn't be anywhere near a Tottenham squad. And again, if that's the calibre, if that's the benchmark we're going to be setting for ourselves, I can't see where success is coming from. Then we move on to Dominic Solanke. Now, Solanke is the new buzzword, right? It was, we'll get to him in a minute, it was Conor Gallagher, but now it's Solanke. It was Tony, now it's Solanke. Reports first broke on Thursday evening that Solanke is the striker that Spurs want, which for me makes no sense at all because apparently the likes of Tony and Eze, who were our first choice targets, are still available. They're still there in the market if you want to go and get them. If you want to go and show the ambition and put the money where the mouth is, so to speak. Anyway, so Solanke turns out to be the one that we want, according to Romano and Ali Gold and all these people on Thursday. We're hearing noises that it's a 65 million release clause. Then you're hearing noises that Spurs won't pay it. Then Bournemouth play yesterday. Guess who's not in the squad? Dominic Solanke. People go into overdrive. I don't know what to believe with this. Do they want him? Do they not? All I know is this. Put my feelings aside. I don't want him at the club. I think he's a decent striker. I think this is the sort of striker I think a team 10th, 11th or 12th signs. I don't think this is the type of striker that a club with any ambition actually signs at 26, 27 years of age. But putting that aside, if he is the guy you want, surely he's been there all summer. He's not been at any tournament. Surely he's been there for the taking. So if he was the one we want, if he is the one we want, why have we not gone and got this deal done earlier in the window? Is it because they wanted Tony, for example, but Tony, for some reason, we can't get done, which that would be funny. But what's going on? Do you people want Solanke? Are we just going into panic mode? Is it that if this is the benchmark of striker we want, then we may as well have the top three laughing at us for years to come? Let me know what you think. It's an interesting one. And again, I say this about so many of our signings. It's a player that has split this fan base straight down the middle. 50% of people talking about how good he is. 50% saying, well, hang on, he's had one season in 9-10 years as a pro footballer where he's hit 19 goals in the Premier League and all of a sudden he's 65 million. This smells of the Richardson deal to me. This seems that, again, it's another player from a lower club that's had one good year and everyone wants him. I don't know. Let's see. But he's been there. He's available. So that will make me start to question, well, what was the plan? If the plan is to try and wait till the end of the window when players are cheaper, sometimes that doesn't work because a club like Bournemouth are going to go, well, hang on, if we're selling our best striker with 3 weeks, 2 weeks of the window to go, we've then got 2 weeks to go and replace him. So again, it can backfire. I get it. You want to save money, but surely if this is the guy you want, if this is your target, go out and get him. Look, then we move on to Eze. Eze, this name has been spoken about probably only second to Conor Gallagher for the last year and a half. Again, we all know that what the situation is. We know that he's got a release clause. We know that Palace are asking for something like 45 to 50 million up front as a down payment, and the rest will be in add-ons and scattered across a number of years. Again, if this is the guy that takes us to the next level, again, you can make your own mind up on that. I'm just using hypotheticals. If he is that guy, why haven't we gone and get it done? Why are we not getting it done? Again, do we want to wait until the last 2-3 weeks when Palace, who have no need to sell unless that release clause is hit, we say to Palace, give us this player. We've got 2 weeks left. How are we going to find a replacement? So again, it's a dangerous game. Do we want him? Did we ever want him? Is it smoke screens? Is it just that we like him but have no real interest in showing that level of ambition? And by the way, for me, Eze should be a standard player coming into Tottenham Hotspur at that level. I don't think he's there, but I do think he's there, and I think that should be the level. Instead, we're talking about this as though this is a world-class, really difficult deal to get done. Every deal is only as difficult as you want to make it financially. So is there no money? Is this really not Ange's target? You decide. But all we know is with 25 days of the window to go, Tottenham still this window have not put in a bid for Eze. As far as we're aware, no one has put in a bid for Eze. We'll see what happens on that one. Then we come to Conor Gallagher, who we know now this morning has said yes to Atletico Madrid. What a wonderful move for the player. As I said last week, I was checking out Conor Gallagher's stats for every metric last week. And he's in the top 5 to 10 of every single metric for a midfielder. Every single metric he's in there, right? for goals, for assists, for passing, for shooting, for tackles, for headers won, duels won, ground covered. And still we had fans going, I wouldn't want him. Wouldn't want him. He's not better than we've got. He pissed over every one of our midfielders for the last 2 years in stats. And if it's one stat, I go, I don't really care. When it's every stat, when it's every metric, I do. Anyway, Spurs, apparently this was the guy we wanted. Apparently, we were told this is the guy that Postecoglou wants. This is his number one target, to play in midfield. He's a perfect Ange player with the engine, the availability to keep running. You know what you're going to get from him each game. He's homegrown. He's 40 million, which isn't a lot in this market. We paid that for Archie Gray, but we didn't make a move. So again, did we ever want him? I don't know. But fair play to him. He's gone and got himself a really good move to the third best team. I mean, I say third best team. Last year they finished fourth. But overall, the last 10, 15 years, they've been the third best team behind Real Madrid and Barcelona. Very good manager in Simeone. They've got some really good players there. He really does suit a Simeone style of play. If anyone watched them, he will fit in there like a glove. I think he's a good player that many have missed out on. But another one that Spurs wanted, apparently, and we haven't got him. I'm just saying, apparently. Please don't shoot me in the comments. These are just what we've been hearing from the Ali Golds, the Ornsteins, all summer, that these are the players we want. So I'm going off of them, not what I think. Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto's another one. It's going to split the fan base massively. Again, if we wanted him, why have we not gone and got it done? Now, this is a tremendous footballer. I don't think any Spurs fan ever says they don't want him from an ability standpoint. But as I pointed out on my show last week, for the last 3 seasons, he's played 44% of all games available to him. It's a huge risk. Now, I know all signings are a risk and anybody could break their foot or do their hamstring on the first game of the season. But this guy has history. This guy is previous. 44% of all games. 44%. Darren Anderton's last 6 years at Spurs was 66%. And he was called a sick note. Now imagine taking another 20% off that game time. So literally he plays 2 in 5 games. Can you buy that type of player? Is the risk worth the reward? Some people will say, well, I'd rather a fit Neto for 20 games than a Brennan Johnson for 38 games. I get that. But can you build your club around that? Can you build your team around a player that's never fit? It's just food for thought. Wonderful footballer. Wonderful footballer. Never, ever fit. Could a deal still be on the table? Who knows? Lots of rumours, more so coming out of Portugal in the last week, that a deal is close. Haven't heard anything, haven't seen that a bid has gone in, but we'll see. Then we get to a player that we haven't been linked with. I can't understand why, and I'm just going to float this past you. Whenever I've watched Matt O'Reilly play from Celtic, he stands out like a sore thumb in that league for me. People could talk about that league being poor, and I get it. But I watch Matt O'Reilly and he stands out. The number of assists, the number of goals, his touch, his control, his work rate, his tackling, his passing, his engine. For me, I can't understand. And he played with Ange for a couple of years, knows this style of play. For me, I could never understand why we've not been linked with this guy, why we've not bid for him. Atalanta have got a bid in for about 30 million. We're hearing noises yesterday that Chelsea are now going to start looking at him. This is a very good player who also does what? He ticks a box for homegrown. A really good footballer. I like him. I would really like Spurs to sign him. Hopefully something could materialise in the last week. I think he's better than any central midfielder we've got. I think he's better than all of our midfield options. That's just me. People might belittle that, but I've always been impressed when I watch this guy play. Only 23, I believe, homegrown, even though he does represent Denmark, but he is homegrown. I really like him. For me, I would go and get him. Now, before people go, oh, he's coming from Scotland. Of course, it's going to be a step up. We'll see how it goes. But again, Virgil van Dijk, he was in Scotland. So we'll see. We'll see. Look, people will say you're hypocritical because you said this about Ange. But the difference is I'm not talking about a man in charge of a club. I'm talking about one midfielder who has one role to fulfill. Then you look at Nile John. Lots of talk going on in the Spurs community today that Nile John is finally on his way. This is a guy that made his debut for Tottenham in, if I'm not wrong, I think Nile John made his debut in 2021 in a Europa League game against Wolfsberger. He then had one further appearance against Pacos de Ferreira the following season in the Conference League. Since then has had unsuccessful loan spell at the likes of Charlton Athletic. And looks like he's another one that's going to leave. We're not going to get money for him, and he's on his way. So good luck to Nile John if he does go. The last player that we've been linked with over the weekend, a guy I don't know anything about, if I'm brutally honest, a 22-year-old Moroccan called Amir Richardson, who plays for Reims. Not sure how you pronounce that. 22 years of age. He signed for Reims last year from Le Havre, where he played the following 2 seasons. I don't know a lot about him. Lots of people are telling me that he's not that good. Other people have, you know what people are like on the likes of X and YouTube. They'll jump onto, oh my God, this guy's amazing, when no one's mentioned his name ever before. But that is another report that's going around the Spurs transfer mill at the moment. Guys, at the moment, ifs, buts, maybes, hypotheticals, potentials, this report, that report, monitoring, you're keeping tabs on, keeping interest, whatever it is. All I know is this: there are 25 days to go. And more the fans that keep saying the window's not shut, the days are ticking down. And the worrying thing about this for me is, if you are a proper club, you go and get deals done like that. Look at West Ham, for example. West Ham last week managed to get 3 deals over the line in the space of about 3 days, right? Daniel Levy doesn't operate like that. Tottenham don't operate like that. So this is the worry. Tomorrow, 24 days, the day after 23. Before you know it, you're looking at, hang on, we've got less than 20 days. Plus, we've got league games before the window shuts. So it's all going to be very interesting. Look, this window doesn't surprise me. I think many people are shocked. I am not surprised by it. So when people tell me you're throwing your toys out the pram, you're angry, I'm not. I expect this. This is the window I expect from Tottenham every year. But many fans keep telling me throughout the season, watch what we do this summer, watch what we do. And then we never actually do what these people are suggesting. So Tottenham have got 25 days if you include today. If you don't include today, 24 days left to get some deals done. Let's see where it goes. Let me know what you think of the players we talked about. Is there anybody else that you've seen Spurs linked with? Anybody else you'd like Spurs to make a cheeky bid for? Let me know. Take care, everyone. We'll be back soon. Thank you for all your support. And if anyone would be so kind, we are 10 subscribers away from 13,000, which is where we were before I took a hiatus. 10 subscribers. So before this video shuts, if 10 of you would be so kind to please hit that subscribe button and we can get to 13K. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.